Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of the Lab Podcast. And I am Cody. And Kel, what's up?
Hello, hello. I am good. I'm Kel, and I'm here. How you doing, Cody?
Oh, pretty good. It's been a bit of a week already. It's only Wednesday. Well, as we're recording this.
Right.
Um, but I feel like there's always something there when you're like preparing for a surgery or something that, you don't necessarily want to do anyways. Where things just start like getting thrown at you and you're just like, can we not right now? And I had this very strange experience with you know someone calling me it was like last Wednesday, asking me for like my deductible up front for my surgery. And I'm like, I have
Oh, weird.
never had someone call me like before my, like, it's always you wait till the bill and then you
Right.
figure it out from there. And she was very adamant that they always call people and ask for payment up front. And she was like, have you ever had surgery here before? And I was just like, plenty of times. And in a nutshell, I'll round it up to summarize, or I'll summarize it to, there's a few red flags. She didn't verify my identity. Usually, they ask your date of birth, last name, that
Mhm.
sort of thing. She didn't even tell me who she was, besides she was like a patient advocate. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't think patient advocates are bill collectors, but
Yeah.
so like I felt like I was buying a new car. I was,
Weird.
bargaining with her a little bit. Like, she wanted the whole thing up front. I was like, I do not have, it was like 6,000 something whatever dollars up front. I was like, I don't have that. So I guess we're going to cancel surgery. She's like, well, can you do half? And I was just like,
Oof.
no. It's like, still can't do
That's
half.
not
So I
how
guess
this works.
yeah. It's like, so I guess I'm just gonna have to cancel. And then she's like, what about 1,500? And I was just like, what is happening right now? And like, she just kept pushing. And I was just like, she's like, what can you realistically afford? I'm like, I don't know. Like, go away. Like, this was in the plan. It was like, you wait for the bill and you set up a payment plan, or you apply for financial assistance. But this is
Mhm.
not a patient advocate. You are a hospital advocate trying to get the money.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I'm just want to make sure everyone's getting paid, And I'm like, they will be. I have insurance. They're going to be getting
Yeah.
something. It's not like they're just getting nothing up front. Uh, so it was very odd. And she had me call her back to see if I could pay, whatever amount. So I called her back, and it was like she wasn't even ready. She's like, you want to pay next Wednesday or
What?
Friday? I was just like, and I asked if there was like a way I could pay online, like a secure way to pay. And she's like, oh no, our department doesn't have that. I was just like, why? How is that possible? So it just
And how
sounds
can
super
one
sketch.
department have something and not the other when it's like one
Right.
hospital?
Right. And like the billing department, you always have the ability to pay online.
Yes.
So why would this be any different? So I need to like call the hospital and verify that this person is even real. And
Right.
I'm like, I am not sending you $1,500 via the phone to someone who sounds sketch as fuck.
Yeah, no
Um,
kidding.
so that's fun. And like, I have no problem like paying something, but just the way that she went about it. So I want to make sure it's legit. And if I can pay on surgery day, so I can literally swipe my card in an ATM machine, that's going to
Mhm.
be the better route. But, anyways, we'll find out if it's a scam or real today. So I'm just like anxious, anticipating having to like make these phone calls.
That's gotta be a scam. There is no way.
It doesn't, it totally sounds like it, but at the same time you wonder, how does she know my information about my surgery date and insurance information? The only thing I can think of is, I mean, it's all electronic these days.
Mhm.
People can hack shit. It happens.
Yeah.
It's happened to the Sutter system before, I believe. uh, and they don't usually tell you weeks, months
Right.
later, because sometimes they don't even know what's happening. uh,
Right.
And then, or it could be someone maybe previously worked there, had access to whatever information, and now they're just using it for not so good things. So there's also all those possibilities, even if they're slim. This year I'm triggered. I'm not here for more scams. I'm like, look, it's been a rough year, so I'm gonna be a detective.
Do the due diligence on that one for sure. Oh
Seriously.
goodness.
So sorry. Yeah,
Yowza.
rant that had nothing to do with anything, but people be sketchy and greedy.
That's crazy. Ugh.
Yeah,
No,
how about you though?
I this week has been okay so far. Been a bit of a struggle. If I one of the like nothing bad has happened, but like everything just wasn't quite right or didn't go quite smoothly. I know it sounds so silly to bitch about because it's like, okay, nothing's like wrong really, but it's annoying that stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so today for example, today I was making my cream of rice waffles and I boiled over some of the cream of rice and lost it. And I was like just ticked off because I only got two waffles instead of three. And, and it's like, that's nothing terrible. That's nothing earth shattering, but just like silly little things like that happen.
Yeah.
Have happened a lot lately, or this week specifically. And so it's just the annoyances, just the little tests, daily tests.
Ugh. But those are kind of the worst because they kind of just build up. But then you don't
Mhm.
really allow yourself to feel it or feel angry about it, and then before you know it, you're getting angry about another like small stupid thing, and then people are like, "What is wrong with you?" And it's just like, "Well, I didn't allow myself to be angry over the other little things, so now I'm having big emotions."
Yep, exactly. And like I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but Maddie was making fun of me the other day because like I feel like it's in those moods when like a couple of things have like gone slightly off that like my pocket will get stuck on every single door handle, and I'm like, are you? How does this only happen when I'm in a rough mood? Like,
There's like actually
so
reels and stuff about that where it's
yes,
like having the worst day and it's just like nobody, and then they like you turn around and it's like but the door handle and it like grabs your pants.
so annoying.
It's yeah, so
But
that sucks
but
though.
it's okay. Um, I did see Deadpool, and I was very stoked about that. Don't worry, I'll have no spoilers. But are you into Deadpool at all?
I'm not like not even 0.1%, so you can
Oh
spoil all you
damn!
want. I know. Yeah, I know maybe I could be, but I've just not ever gotten into it, so I don't even know what I'm missing.
Yeah, I think you should give him a try. But I won't for any of our viewers. I won't spoil. But it was very good. I had a lot of fun watching it, and that was kind of one of my highlights of last week. So
Nice. Well, hey,
yeah, I'll
there's
take
one
it.
thing.
I'll take it.
Yeah, it's harder when you're in prep and like the little things start to get to you and add up because you're just already uncomfortable. So it just makes things more uncomfortable, and missing out on one waffle is a lot when you're already hungry. And yeah, so they seem small, but I get it.
Yeah, for sure. But at least it's a movie. My favorite thing on prep that I like treat myself with is fountain Diet Coke, because it tastes so much better coming out of the stupid nozzle than it does out of any other thing. I think it's
No, yeah, I
far
think you're right.
superior.
Are you Diet
Um,
Coke or Coke Zero? Which one do you
I
prefer?
prefer Coke Zero, but I'll take a Diet Coke.
Yeah, same.
Diet Dr Pepper, on the other hand, is the absolute elite in my opinion.
I haven't had a whole lot of that, but I can imagine that would be pretty good. The one that I probably can't stand is Diet Mountain Dew. Uh, I'd probably still drink it if, but it's not anything I'd be like, I really want a Diet Mountain Dew right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Coke Zero. I would say is like number one diet beverage.
Yeah, it is pretty darn good. I also am a big root beer person. That's what I was drinking on earlier. Root beer. So
Nice. Well,
got
that's
to
what.
take my treats where I can find them.
Yeah, that's when you're in prep. You start your treats become 0-calorie beverages.
Yes.
You're like, oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
uh,
And that's kind of a cool segue. So our topic for today is going to be into bodybuilding, and kind of how we got there and why we love the sport in general. But first, let's talk about what's going on out in the world.
yeah. So the world is a mess, but so we still got the politics going on with Trump, running. Kamala Harris is, most likely going to be the Democratic nominee. I don't see why she wouldn't be at this point. So it's interesting to see how everything unfolds. You can definitely tell the Trump side of things. They're getting a little nervous. I know the latest thing is Trump backing out of the debate with Harris, which I'm surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised, but like I'm surprised because that's just like a number one coward thing to do. Yeah. And if he's so like not afraid and he insults her constantly and says she's not smart, then why would you not debate her? Yeah. He just knows it's gonna bring his poll numbers down because people will see the comparison. It's like you're in the bodybuilding show and you have the individual posing routine, and then you have the comparison. He knows he would fail miserably. So that's a big thing. But I wish or hope that they still make it happen somehow. I would never know. Be looking forward to that. Yeah. And then we have the outrage of the Olympic opening ceremony, which was I went through a whole roller coaster of emotions with that one. I don't know if you read anything about it.
I saw some of it and I've read a little bit about it, but I've mostly was like, whatever, because I thought the opening ceremony was pretty boring.
You're like, I just didn't think anything of it. So that's the thing. Like, I didn't even watch it. I just, I have caught all the commotion on Twitter, so I've seen clips and stuff of it now.
Well, tell us catch everybody up.
Yeah, so if you live under a rock, there was, the opening ceremony had a very, I feel like, French opening. It was kind of weird. If you've ever, like, if you think of Fashion Week, like, think of it like that. Like, it's fucking weird. So it was basically there was there even, like, they keep saying there was drag queens, but I'm like, there was people in costumes. I didn't even see drag queens.
I just thought they were people in costumes, but I don't know. And I didn't see what happened exactly live. I saw it afterwards on TikTok, and like saw people on Instagram posting about it and how pissed they were. And but I saw something today that it wasn't even supposed to be a depiction of the Last Supper. It was something different.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, Christians were upset because they thought it was like a mockery of their religion, because it was supposed to, like, they thought it was drag queens recreating the Last Supper, and they were like upset that it was a mockery of Christianity. And they're like, we're always the ones that get mocked, and they wouldn't try that with any other religion. But come to find out, like, it wasn't even a recreation of the Last Supper. It was actually just like Greek mythology. I forget the god of like fertility and whatever. It was like a completely different thing than Christians thought it was. They won't back down from it though. But it's like literally it was not even about that. And the creator was like, I was just trying to like send this message of inclusivity and stuff like that. It's like, well, that's your number one problem, because Christianity is very exclusive. So of course you're gonna have a problem with inclusivity. But so they still are pretty stuck on it being, the Last Supper mockery, but also, they whether it was or not, they're still calling it satanic, because that's what they do when they just don't like something. But they were very outraged, wanting to boycott the Olympics, and just it was very silly. And for those types of things, like I grew up in the church, and you know, I see both viewpoints because I'm forever just stuck with those viewpoints in my head and knowing what it was like 100% being very much in belief of those things, and there's very tunnel vision. There's no way out of it. So it's like I understand how that happens, but it's so frustrating once you get out of it because you just want to like smack them and be like, "Come on, like wake up! This is not even about you. Why do you always think it's about you?" And
You're so vain. It's
yeah,
Enter Curly Simon.
and it's like, first of all, you know, like I didn't know anything about Greek mythology because that's not something we learned growing up. I went to a Christian school, so that's problem number one. None of them know anything about Greek mythology, and we weren't allowed to learn about it because like there's only one God, and then there's like all these gods and shit, and so they have no idea what it actually even is, but they won't take the time to learn about it because it's probably also satanic, you know. Uh, so it's just a clusterfuck of emotion that shouldn't even be necessary, and the they're all upset about how, you know, the French didn't even, it wasn't even a good apology. It was like they didn't actually even owe you an apology. And then there were some people saying that some guy's ball sack was hanging out during the performance, but if you look closer, it was actually just a tear in his tights. It wasn't his ball sack. It was a hole, and it was just his thigh.
Oh my gosh.
So like
People are so ridiculous. They
Yeah.
and have too much time on their hands.
they really do. And I think the hardest part about it also is that they always find a way to throw trans people in there like it's our fault. I'm like, I didn't even watch it. Like, this is not a place where I feel like credit is due here. Like,
Yeah.
this is not the LGBT community's doing. It's just, it's insane that right now, like,
Yeah.
they are so set on everything being against trans people. They've tried to make the assassination attempt shooter trans by like posting things of like some other trans women that like they look kind of similar but not even really, and then be like, yeah, they were a trans person. And then like I guess there are people going off on like the French, I don't know, it's not the president, I don't know, like his wife being trans.
Prime Minister, maybe?
Yeah, and I'm like, even if she is, like, it's France, like fuck off. You know, like it's insanity right now, and it feels very heavy sometimes. But anyways, I've
It does
ranted enough
feel
about
very
that.
heavy. It does feel very heavy, and but on the other hand, there has been a lot of really cool Olympics and a lot of big wins, and I've been there for that. I've been watching a lot of Olympics the last week or this week and over the weekend and stuff. So I've been
How's
loving it.
that?
It's going well. I watched a lot of the women's rugby yesterday. They won bronze. It's the first time ever that the U.S. Has won a rugby medal, which was very exciting.
That's awesome.
And they also, I don't know if you follow that Alana Marr or know who that is. She's been all over
No.
rugby TikTok, and she does a lot for like kind of reshaping how body image looks to athletes and stuff. She's like 5'10", 200 pounds, and talks about looking like that a lot. And she talks about her kind of how she uses her body and use it in kind of self-esteem, that kind of thing. Really positive energy. So it was really nice to see her do really well in the tournament and like have talent and sports talent to back up all the work that she's been doing in like content creation, which is pretty cool.
Cool. That's awesome. I'll have to follow because I've not heard of her. I know the gymnastics team won gold, so
Yeah, watch that.
that's pretty awesome. I know last time, which it's weird the Olympics wasn't 4 years ago. Like it still like confuses me because of the whole like delay. From COVID. But I know the last Olympics when Simone had I guess like the twisties or whatever, where
Mm.
it's like a mental thing where you can't tell where you're at in the air. You don't know where like the
Yeah.
ground is, and so she had to sit some things out. I remember uh, some people giving her so much shit for that,
Yeah.
and being like, "Oh, she's lazy, and she just doesn't want to compete or X Y Z." So that for them to come back and her killing it, obviously, and
Hmm.
them winning gold. She posted a photo on Threads that was like lazy, unskilled, Olympic team wins gold.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
saw that. She was so badass too. I watched quite a bit of the gymnastics. Um but it was kind of crazy because I like to think about it kind of like as an athlete, right? You want to kind of put your head into what they're going through. And um I saw one of the gymnasts. I forget which. I think she was US. I cannot remember. She was doing the balance beam and she messed up on her like approach. So when she got on the balance beam, she immediately fell off, and like the very first move, she biffed it. And
oh,
but what I was so impressed by is she did the rest of the routine absolutely flawless, and like the ability to kind of recollect yourself, reset, and to move forward in what 90 seconds is like just so impressive.
oh yeah,
And that's kind of where I that's why I like watching the Olympics, is just watch because these athletes are they're good at their sport, yes, but they've also have like rock solid mindsets to be able
yeah,
to compete at that kind of level.
yeah, yeah. There's definitely a whole psychology around it, which I know there's actually like therapists and psychologists that work with athletes, so they
Mm-hmm.
probably have some of those traveling along with them.
Have
Being
you ever
like,
watched
hey,
Ted Lasso?
no, I haven't.
You should give that a try. But they have a sports psychologist come in at one of their seasons. It's pretty
Okay,
good.
that's awesome. Yeah, like maybe another life, I would do that. But yeah, if it were me, man, it would have been hard to come back from that and just feel like I wasn't gonna eat shit again. Like, it'd be like, nope.
And I do believe it was the U.S. So like at one point it was like even the commenters like all she needs to do is finish this routine and they're gonna be okay score wise. But like that is such a hard ask. I feel like
Yeah, no pressure, no pressure.
no pressure. So I think it's very inspiring. I really like it a lot, and more than just the talent, it's the hard work and kind of dedication to goal.
Yeah, yeah. People have dedicated their whole ass lives to their sports, so it's always inspiring to see, and see people win. Sad to see people lose, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's good shit. So
Yeah, except for some of them are like 16, and you're like,
I
how?
know, I know, and then you feel a little shit about yourself.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
the Olympics is
yeah.
inspiring, but not like it used to be. Not like
You're
I
right,
want to be
right.
like that when I grow up. It's like, damn, I'm old.
Yep,
I would
missed
break
that boat.
myself if I did that.
Yeah,
Gone
I
are the
do like that.
days. Sorry, it's like
I know you.
it.
Go ahead.
It's
Sorry.
like gone are the days where you're like recreating their shit and like trying to do what they're doing because you would just break. So now you just
Yes.
watch and you're like, yeah, I'm hurting just watching that. So I'm good.
Yeah. I feel like we need that average person like trying it at the same time. That I know you've seen
Like
that
a
meme
side by
going
side.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is what
Because
it would
they,
look like if someone like you tried to do this and then you see them
yeah,
fall on their face.
because they make it look so easy, and then it's definitely not. So just to
No.
put it in perspective of to be like, yeah, this is how not easy it is.
Right.
But yeah, I did like see for skateboarding as well.
Mm.
Um, US got both silver and bronze in men's street
Oh,
skateboarding.
very cool.
I don't know about like park and stuff like that, but I think it was a Japanese guy that won the gold. Um, for girls skateboarding, I think it was like a 14-year-old Japanese girl that won the
Wow.
gold, and I think like second was a Brazilian girl, and I don't know about the third. But between like the Brazilians and Japanese when it comes to skateboarding, it's definitely uh, they're on top of their shit for sure. So it gets interesting.
Pretty crazy. But I we were watching that. I was watching that with Maddie too, and I'm like, I guess the Tokyo level of Tony Hawk was always the really hard one.
That's
That's
so
what I told her.
true. I hated that level.
That's
Oh
a
man.
throwback.
Oh gosh. Did you play Tony Hawk growing up a lot? Or
Oh yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite one?
No, I like, you mean like location or
Nah,
a
just like
game?
wait, there's like one, two, three, then
Oh, I think
underground,
I had
underground
two
two.
pro. I think I liked the most Pro Skater 2.
Yeah, I think mine was three. Um, but I have this like I have it on PlayStation now, and it's the
Mm-hmm.
only game I'll still like somewhat kind of play sometimes, but I haven't in a while. And it's like I think Tony Hawk 1 and 2 combined, if I remember correctly.
Nice.
Still fun, but I miss 3 because there's Rio. That was always my
Uh,
favorite one because you could just do combos for days. I sound like a complete nerd. But yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, I play it on our Switch every once in a while still because I think I have the 1-2 combo also,
yeah, yeah. They have it on
for
Switch.
Switch. Yeah,
It's
but
fun.
yeah. Well, I guess we can kind of move into our newest obsession from the Tony
Yeah.
Hawk Pro Skaters to bodybuilding.
Yeah, I always say that bodybuilding, like, I used to skateboard and be obsessed with it like I am with bodybuilding. So I always say bodybuilding is my new skateboarding because I'm definitely, getting too old for bodybuilding, but I'm definitely too old for skateboarding.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I'm just as much obsessed with bodybuilding as I was with skateboarding. So yeah, that's
That's
just my
what I
personality.
yeah. I always tell Maddie I have to have a hobby that takes over my life, kind of.
Same.
And so right now it's bodybuilding. It used to be, I feel like, my job maybe, but I told her that when I'm an old man and like can't bodybuild anymore, I think I'm gonna go into metal detecting. I think that's gonna be my old man hobby though.
I can
That's
totally
just a
see you
fun
doing
fact.
that. Oh, it's funny because with the Olympics, like I've been having this conversation. I mean, with Des, but also on the more serious side with my therapist, just to be like, what am I gonna do? It's coming
Yeah,
up, or I'm not gonna be able to do this forever, and I'm already, anxious about it because it means so much to you,
it's
and
you.
there's the obsession and your childhood dreams, like everything. And so I'm trying to think of like, what am I going to do? And so Des and I have been going over different Olympic sports like handball. I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to play handball next. I'm like, I
Nice.
think I'm still too old for that. But badminton, that's fair
There you go.
game.
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
I think my next I'm gonna go because I'm planning my route into metal detecting. I think I'm gonna have to pass through another hobby on the way, and I'm thinking backpacking first and
Okay.
then metal detecting. I think that's the
No.
path I'm gonna take. But let's go back to reality and into bodybuilding.
People are like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that was a weird tangent. Sorry, everybody in the ether.
But bodybuilding. So what makes you like what got you into bodybuilding and what made it something that you fell in love with?
I fell in love with the process, which is such a corny thing to say, but I really got. I feel like I got results, and I was addicted to it. Like I, to be honest, well, let's back up a little bit because logistically, I watched you in Man Made, and I'm like, well, we had already been working together when I had saw it. Like, I think we were just working together in like lifestyles, trying to lose some weight, and I saw you in Man Made, and I'm like, I want to do that. And that was kind of was my intro
That's
into
awesome.
it, and actually competing into it.
Yeah.
What? How about you? What was your intro? What would you say?
But man, like it's kind of similar, but with a different person. I feel like so. Uh, Mine had a weird roundabout way, but I did CrossFit before, and that was like my first intro to like
Mm-hmm.
strength training, essentially. But I don't know how it happened, but I was on YouTube one day, and I came across a channel from someone called Obese to Beast, and he's this weight loss guy, but he was kind of gearing up to do his first men's physique like bodybuilding show. And I watched that whole process through it, and I thought that was pretty awesome. And they collaborated with someone else or a few other people, and that's how I kind of got into like fitness YouTube. Just collaborations used to be a thing, like way more back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I found everyone who I probably still subscribe to, who have also maybe not even uploaded YouTube videos since. But I came across Matt Ogus, who,
Mm-hmm.
funny, is actually local to me. And so I watched all of his series of stepping on stage, and he competed in 2016, like right, you know, before I did my first competition. And so that was essentially the inspiration, just watching how he did it. So I was like coaching myself and replicating off of base of how he did things,
Nice.
because he documented it really well. So I learned a lot. And
Okay.
from then, I competed. It was kind of like this, I'm just doing this to do it. I didn't necessarily think it was going to become a huge thing for me, but got addicted. And, it's that progress and that rush and the discipline and feeling of accomplishment. Uh, I was hooked, and come full circle. Uh, the last prep I was in, so, Matt Ogus is local. I was doing cardio, feeling like death, hitting the very, very much suck hole part of prep. And here comes fucking Matt Ogus, and he gets on machine like one over from me, and I'm sitting here just like, what? So like I see him at my gym occasionally, and it's just weird how life does that sometimes. And I'm like, this is the guy who kind of started it all for me. He has absolutely no idea. Uh, and here he is. I'm struggling to get through this cardio, and he just, you know, took a machine somewhat next to me, and it pushed me to keep going. So
I
yeah,
love that.
that's kind of how I got into it.
Yeah, I remember because I say, and that is how kind of I got into it. I watched that documentary, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that competition and really try this out. And then after how prep went, and then winning, I was like, this is it. This is it. This is what I want to do. But when I was a little kid, my sister was a competitive cheerleader, and she had a competition at the Arnold every year. And so when I was always forced to go to all these competitions because what the fuck else was I gonna do? And I would sneak off and go walk around the Arnold when I was supposed to be at the cheer thing, and I would just like be in awe of these guys, and I'm like, oh my god, I just want that so bad. And I've been doing a lot of like reflecting on fitness and stuff recently, obviously because of prep, and I think it was never something I thought was possible for me. And I'm not saying I'm going to be the next Arnold winner or even that massive. I don't necessarily want that, need that. But to look at those guys and know I was making like heroes of them, but like it was not even something on my radar that was possible. And actually living here now and like doing the damn thing is just kind of nutty. And it is kind of crazy how things come full circle if you stick in it long enough.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I think that's the beauty of bodybuilding too, is because it might be hard to see how it's going to pay off from day to day, but if you just keep checking off the boxes, and at one point you get to look back and you're like, damn, I did that. And I feel like there's, not a lot of things that are similar in that way, even if it's like team sports and stuff. You can see your progress and improvement, but it bodybuilding is, in a sense, is just like it was all. It wasn't even like it was all in you, like your decisions each day from waking up to what you ate. It's all encompassing your whole ass life when you're into bodybuilding is bodybuilding. You don't just walk
Yes.
off the court and call it a night. It's like everything. It's you have to be disciplined in all aspects of life, and I think it's one of those sports that not a lot of people
Oh.
do or can do, and like that's why it feels so appealing because it's like it's hard mentally. So I like to do things that are very challenging and that people are like, fuck that shit.
Yeah. Well, and I feel the same way. Like it's a crazy extreme sport and it takes over and you have to let it take over your whole life or you're not really going to be able to do what you want to do with your body because it does require so much. And I know most people are like, what? Look at us like we're insane. And yeah, maybe it is a little insane. But I do feel like to an extent it's like our personalities are very built to it. And but I do feel like me and you like different aspects of it or you know what I mean? Because I feel like you love like the cut you like in and the you're not the bulk fan and all that kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing but I do think we are both like really built for it with our love of routines and kind of that slow work in the in the shadows. That's kind of what
Yeah.
bodybuilding is.
Yeah, it's essentially a sport of delayed gratification. But like
That's
nothing
it.
feels better than that delayed gratification when you reach that point that you were working for so hard. And so that's just like once you hit that point at, like doing your first show, or whatever, all that hard work that paid off, you remember that feeling. And then that's what helps push you through, even when it's just, I don't like in the present, it's miserable, but you just kind of get an idea of you remember how good that felt. And then you're able to kind of keep pushing through. So it
Mm-hmm.
also carries over into other aspects of life. But yeah, speaking of our personalities, I think a lot of people from the outside would be like, "You guys are very disordered. Like you have an eating disorder, body dysmorphia. The way you go about things is obsessive and stuff." And it's just like that is my personality. Always has been about something, and I am very routine. I'm very rigid. Naturally, even if I wasn't doing bodybuilding, I would probably be very similar. I wouldn't probably be as, you know, paying attention as much to my macros, but like I would still have a
Yeah.
routine of some sort. So bodybuilding just not only did I make it fit my life, but I met it halfway. I was already halfway there.
Yeah.
So it's I don't feel like it's a sacrifice to me. Uh, I mean, some days we are like, oh, I want to be a normal person for a second, and you know, just do X, Y, Z. But this is actually what I genuinely enjoy. So it's just funny when people kind of get mad about that sometimes, and they're like, "You have issues, like you're disordered, or you have an eating disorder and stuff." And it's just like it might appear that way, but I feel like you can't really label that on someone else's life because it's when that thing impacts your life negatively in a way that's distressing, is when that's the issue. So it's not distressing to me. It's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
So I think that's always the line that people tend to miss. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that and also like the intention, like we bodybuilding is a very intentional planned thing. It's not like you go into show at whim. It's all of the cuts that we do, that's all based on data and a process and a plan. It's not just something that's willy-nilly um unchanging and unhealthy. We do make sure that we're checking on our health and monitoring that, and kind of understanding that we are going to a very specific goal. I'm not just cutting to have fun. I'm cutting for one day, for a date that I have on my calendar. That's it, right? Like, we obviously we're going to rebound and stuff, and it's not going to be let loose immediately afterwards, but we have a plan. It's not, this isn't arbitrary. And I think that's where a lot of my kind of argument for those folks are. It's like, this is a sport. It's
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing is people fail to recognize as a sport because it is so accessible to everybody. But the difference is in the competition, the stepping on stage aspect. That's what makes it, I mean, bodybuilding still exists whether you compete or not, but the rigidity is adjusted according to your seriousness level. What we do to we have goals. We want to compete. So what we do, there's a little bit more weight to it. Our actions, there's a bit more weight to it because we know it's going to impact our goals. Where maybe you're just kind of like a casual bodybuilder and you like to see progress, but you're not planning to compete. You have more wiggle room. It's not something that you necessarily prioritize probably, but for us, it's something we prioritize. And again, I love that shit. It's a sport. Sometimes I find it a little offensive that people are not able to recognize that we are in pursuit of a goal, and it's a sport to us. It might be a sport that people don't understand and that they find absolutely nuts and crazy, but there's a shit ton of sports out there that are a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
We can look at plenty of Olympic sports that are weird as hell. This is just a different weird one. You know what I mean? And it's the level of extreme that I think that you were getting at, right? So like someone who's a bodybuilder for fun, who likes to casually bodybuild, you don't need to go to the extremes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
When you have different goals, you have to go to extremes. You have to match what the competition's doing because that's the goal, right? So I think that's again where the big differences lie. But I do love bodybuilding and the kind of the sculpting aspect of it, and feeling like you're making something out of your own two hands, your own body.
Yeah, you're like your own sculptor. And I think also, it comes from us not feeling like we had control over our bodies for a very long time. So as trans men, it also plays a different role of, feeling like you're finally living out your dreams, and this body that you never thought was possible, you're making it happen. And nothing feels better than making your fucking dreams come true. Not to say that my only dream was to be jacked, and it's not like that. A lot of people find it to be very vain, but that's also a misconception, because it's great that basically how you look can be a bonus, but what you get out from the discipline and the hard work and the delayed gratification is priceless, because again, it carries over into other aspects of your life, and looking a certain way is just a bonus. So I think that's the same thing. Karate, for example, is very much so about discipline and hard work. So maybe if I'm not bodybuilding, I'll just jump over into some karate.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with what you're saying, and I think I owe a lot to bodybuilding because it has been able to. I've been able to channel a lot of things through bodybuilding. I know as a trans man, the body dysmorphia was debilitating, and finding bodybuilding and seeing a path forward that has been tried and true, and that cis men do. It's also gender affirming care when cis men do it. And I think that's pretty dope. And now in a gamified helping myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, um, making myself better. I was like, this is a game. I can get closer and closer by ticking off all these boxes. Heck yes, let's do this. We already know the answers. It's like taking a test with the answer key.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I mean, even in bodybuilding, there's not certainty, but you do have a certain amount of certainty that you know if you do X, Y, Z, you're gonna see some result. I think that's
Yeah.
also something that is appealing to me.
Yeah.
We have a lot of things in the world that are not certain, and again, still nothing is certain in bodybuilding, but there's enough to create a bit of structure, foundation, something that you feel like isn't going to get swept out from underneath you. But, you know, unless you get injured, that's always a possibility. So, yeah, I think it's something that, you know, when you feel like you don't have control over, yeah, you got something that you can control.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you have any other?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, speaking of bodybuilding, like, there's different divisions, of course, and you're competing in classic physique. So what made you decide, you know, I really like classic physique? 'Cause there's also bodybuilding, there's men's physique. So what drew you to your division?
Sure thing. I love that question. So I like classic physique because it's harkens back to like the quote unquote golden age of bodybuilding, the Arnold time, and kind of that Venice Beach look from Pumping Iron. I that's what I love. That's the figures that I saw and idolized when I grew up. Like the that age, that look. And that's kind of what classic bodybuilding is right now. I also don't really have interest in being a mass monster, and
No, yeah.
that doesn't look like fun. I don't want to be that big.
Yeah, it's like, even if I
Nor
could get
could
that
I.
big,
It would also
yeah.
take so long. Like, so I
Yeah.
think that. But and then I also like. I've found my legs to be one of my better features, so I think that's why I went with it. Classic as opposed to men's physique.
Yeah. If you got legs, you might as well go
Yeah.
classic.
Yeah. So
But yeah, Mass Monsters, like, I admire their work, and but fuck, man, I feel like that's got to be so uncomfortable. You don't even fit in clothes. It's and it's not healthy. It's just not. You know, no one is healthy at 300 plus pounds.
no matter if
In
it's muscle or
offs.
fat.
Exactly. It's like where the BMI scale actually does have, you know, some credit to it, is that to a certain extent, if you're overweight, even if it's muscle, it's still not going to be healthy for you. It's like categorizing us as obese or overweight is a little ridiculous. But you are going to get those same effects at a certain point, and that would be mass monsters.
Yeah.
So, I like it. It's hard because you look at those guys and it's admirable for sure, but then you do get you know, there's always a concern about their health. You know, there has been some deaths, and you just got to wonder at what point does this is a whole nother topic. What point does, you know, the NBC, the IFBB, make different rules to help protect their athletes, because there's just no limits. And I know I feel like they're trying to a little bit, especially with men's physique right now, which is my division, if no one knows. They put weight limits on the professional level, so they cannot get too big anymore, because that's what was happening. It was essentially upper body bodybuilding. The men's physique guys were just as big as the 212 and classic physique, and it gets ridiculous, and it loses what that division was even made for. It's supposed to be like beach body, like what would look good on the beach. It wasn't even supposed to be as conditioned and stuff, but now it's gone. It always goes to the extremes. So, you know.
Do we want to kind of go over the quick what the physique or what the categories are real quick?
Yeah, we could. Should I just say men's physique and you can?
Yeah.
So there's men's physique, which you wear board shorts. I feel like it was born to, uh, help create a division that was more attainable for people with not as great genetics to, be a mass monster. So it was an opportunity to give other people a chance. And it's really grown over the years. Sometimes it's like called like the pretty boy division, but I'm not. But essentially, they are looking for like an aesthetic kind of clean physique. It's not you're not looking to be massive, even though they still are.
Yeah.
um, so beach body, just think of that. That's like men's physique, but now it's more than just beach body. It's just the beach shorts.
Yeah. And then we have classic physique, which is what I compete in. You typically everybody wears the little black speedo. It covers more of your butt than the big guys in bodybuilding. Um,
No
it's
thongs.
no thongs. If you know who Chris Bumstead is, that is his division, even though he's fucking massive. Classic
Yeah.
physique does have a height and weight cap to help maintain smaller physiques, but smaller is in quotation marks. And typically you have more of an aesthetic look as opposed to just as big as possible.
Yeah.
Is
It's like
that did I miss anything?
instead of looking like a brick, you're looking like a stallion. You look like
Right.
you
Yeah.
can probably run still. You can,
Right.
not, yeah, you're not weighing 300 pounds. But
You're not
I
weighing
think
300 pounds.
if I didn't have awful knees, classic would be my choice as well, just because I love the aesthetics of classic physique and, the posing. It's just got that physique that you would want to strive for. And 212 is basically like, so there's still a weight limit, but you still look, it's bodybuilding. So it's for anyone who weighs 212 and under. So it's a chance for the little guys, essentially. I feel like that's why, Sean,
Short guy bodybuilding.
yeah, he's like 5 foot and he's won 212 a couple times. Unfortunately, he isn't quite the like undefeated champion that Sebum is with classic. It's not like, oh, Sean's gonna win this time. It's, is he going to win this time? Because he would win, lose, win, because he's such a small guy. But he kills it. But anyways, then of course you have the open where there is no limits to
Get as big as you want.
yeah, and it's freaky. It's the freak show of bodybuilding, and that's what people come to see, which is why it still exists, unfortunately. Sometimes you kind of think about it's a little bit exploitative, I guess, in a way, because it's like you have to be massive so we can show you off to the public.
So massive, and you like what we're talking about are people who are like 5'8", 5'9" at 275 pounds of pure muscle, and these are big boys.
Yeah, like Derek Lunsford, his back is insane. I don't know how tall he is. I feel like he's only like 5'7", but
he doesn't look
weighs
tall.
No, none of them really. Sebum's the tallest one. They're all pretty short. So
I think Samson's tall too.
Oh yeah, he's definitely tall. So is Andrew Jacked. He's definitely a tall guy, which makes them look more aesthetic in open bodybuilding. But they're still massive. But anyways,
Derek Lunsford is 5'6". I was Googling.
Okay. Do you know? Does it say how much he weighs?
It says contest 225, off season 240.
So can you imagine being 5'6" and weighing 240 pounds? No. And that all being muscle too.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So not healthy, guys. Bodybuilding is not the pursuit of health while we're here.
No, it is not. No, it is not. And let's do a couple quick ones, real quick. What is your favorite bodybuilder? Current and then non-current.
Current, it's such a cliche thing, but obviously Chris Bumstead, not just as like an athlete, but as a person. He has the emotional intelligence of someone much older and just not the type of thing you see in bodybuilding. And he also never is like, he never like thanks God or like does this, oh, thank you God for having me win. I think he might be atheist or something, but he never pulls that shit and like being like, oh yeah, God help me get here. It's like God doesn't care about all the steroids you injected into your body. Like the Holy Trinity. Like this is not a thing.
Yeah.
So I like him a lot. He's just a good dude. And when it comes to men's physique, man, that's a hard one because they're all fucking assholes. So physique wise, Aaron Banks is, yeah, he's got an amazing physique. So I would say he'd be my favorite as far as physique goes, but personality wise, not so much. But yeah. How about you?
I like Chris Bumstead. I agree with everything you said, but in just to be a little different, I also like Terrence Ruffin.
Yeah.
He is seems like a really cool guy. I love his posing and his physique. I think he's a very, very beautiful poser. And then I would say for like historical, my favorite bodybuilder of all time is obviously Arnold. I am an Arnold fanboy.
Yeah.
So.
He definitely was on top there. Now it's funny to think that Arnold would be competing in classic physique and not bodybuilding.
Classic physique.
That's where it came from, that division of like, let's rewind a little bit and get less massive. But yeah, if no one has seen Pumping Iron and you're thinking about bodybuilding or whatever, you have to watch that one. It's a classic, and it's still good to this day.
Absolutely. If I need motivation, I'll watch Pumping Iron.
Same. Yeah.
Just to get that. But
yeah.
Anything else you wanted to talk about bodybuilding?
I mean, I could talk about it all day, but listeners are probably like, all right, guys, I mean, if they're still here. So, nothing on my end, but how about you?
No, I think we could go in it on and on forever, but if you guys are interested, let us know. We can always do another bodybuilding episode if we want, especially if we want to like kind of go into it a little bit more, because we didn't really touch on the differences really between bulking and cutting, kind of the idea of what show prep looks like, or even show day, and we can kind of cover all that if you guys are interested. But I think that's a pretty good intro and bodybuilding overview, perhaps.
Maybe we should do a series, bodybuilding
I like
101 series.
Yeah. Hey, that might be fun. Let's we can put a poll up on our Spotify.
Yeah, and then there you can comment now. So if anyone wants more bodybuilding stuff, you want to learn more about what it's all about, what the process is, like let us know. We are open to all things. Y'all are just real quiet, so we just keep doing what we want to do, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Maybe we can drop a question box on or a poll on our Instagrams too.
Yeah.
And but yeah, until then I can go into the power talk if you're ready.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Dope. All right, let me pull it up. All right. So today I have a quick quote. Every day may not be good, but there's something good in every day. And it's corny and it's light today, but I think sometimes we get stuck in this bad day cycle and looking for the bad. And I just want to throw it out there that, yeah, you're going to have shitty parts of the day, but it's up to you to let that make your day. So just remember, if you're having a crappy Monday, because this will come out on Monday, breathe, let it go. You're going to have something good happen today. Just be on the lookout for it.
Yes, agreed.
So that's what I
Always
have.
find something good. What's good in your day so far, Kel?
It's good in my day so far. I killed this fly right um right before we got on air. I this fly has been buzzing around the room, driving me insane. And literally right before I entered to do the podcast, I hit him with a book and I got him. So that's my win for this morning. Boom.
Oh, that's amazing.
What's your win for today?
It's still pretty early here. It's only 10. But I'm gonna go with just the fact that today is like a writing day for me. Content and stuff like that, and it's sometimes can be frustrating, but it is one of my more favorite days because I enjoy writing. So I'm just gonna bank off
Heck
that.
yeah.
Like, it's a writing day. All things are good.
I like that. Well, awesome. So, well, I will see you later then, Cody. Have a fun writing day, and we'll talk to our listeners some other time. Have a great week.
Next week.
Next